What up, folks? I am Ultrazilla, and what I got for you today is a little bit of a breakdown of the Brian Flynn interview with Pixel Dan about all of the upcoming SUPER7 products, including Godzilla. And that's what we're going to focus on here today, with a little bit of a sprinkling of a couple other things I want to quickly mention because it kind of ties into everything. But I figured I'd do this because, A, I didn't get to see this interview right away. I just saw it last night for the first time, and I watched it again now. And there's a lot of information in here that I feel like a lot of kaiju fans aren't going to really get, because maybe you don't know who SUPER7 is, and the news of SUPER7 getting the Godzilla license is kind of washed by you. First thing to note is, if you were sad about the NECA loss of the license, be really happy, because it's in great hand with SUPER7. The license didn't go from NECA to Playmates. Licenses don't really have much to do with each other. But SUPER7 is going to take the place of NECA as far as the collector-friendly manufacturer here in the States that's gonna be doing Godzilla toys. So I figured I'd break down the interview a little bit, because again, you know, maybe you didn't see it, but they led off with Godzilla, which was great. So, little history here. SUPER7 actually started out as a Japanese toy magazine, right? And when I first found out about SUPER7 was at, I believe, San Diego Comic-Con, either 2003 or 2005, when I got this shirt here from SUPER7. This is a SUPER7 shirt, really vintage, old SUPER7 shirt that I like to wear every once in a while. I don't want to wear it too much more because, you know, it's old. But man, you know, everything is still there. All the kaiju, guys, and they know Godzilla. Brian Flynn knows Godzilla, and it should be something that should make you really happy. Their first actual toy was a color repaint variant of the Bear model G54. So, you know, when it comes to Godzilla, it's something that's ingrained in SUPER7's history, so you should really feel excited. And if you saw my Ultra Z news when this was announced, you can see my excitement, because I knew that they love Godzilla, and this is something they've wanted to do for a long time. Now, full disclosure, behind the scenes, I've kind of known that SUPER7 might have been in the mix for a little while, but it's really good to hear that it finally came to pass, and that, you know, they are going to be making Godzilla. It's very exciting for me as a fan. It should be exciting for you guys as well. Now, the timetable is, it's going to be a little bit, okay, because they just officially signed the deal. So, you know, for the full rollout of the line to come out, it's gonna probably be at the very earliest the end of this year, but definitely next year, and early next year according to Mr. Flynn. However, they did have a figure in progress that is going to be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive this year. Well, what does that mean? I don't know yet, because we don't know if San Diego Comic-Con is going to be a thing. So if it's online, maybe they'll make it available like they make everything else, and I hope they do, and it makes it, you know, it'll be easy for all of, you know, everybody to get their hands on whatever that first initial Godzilla figure will be. And they had one, you know, ready to go, because this was a license they've been trying to get for a little while, and they thought they had it a couple of years ago, so they were already in the works. Okay, and this is timetable is right, because this is when I heard rumblings about all of this. So that is awesome to hear. I'm not gonna say anymore. I did hear rumblings about something that might be something that they do, and it might be, I'll give you a hint, something, because I don't know for sure, I'll just say that right now. but it might be something related to a recent Godzilla figure that I did. A recent Godzilla figure that I did here. Alright, so stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to be hearing about it, you know, between now and when San Diego comes. So between now and July, we will get our first official announcement. We might even get the first like lineup of Ultimates figures they are gonna do. So what's Ultimates? It is a 7-inch line of figures that they do. It's their Ultimates. Right now they're really like hitting it big with the line of TMNT stuff. Very good reviews on those. So there's a lot of different figures. I've reviewed some of the Masters of the Universe stuff. I've reviewed, which they're not doing anymore, but I've reviewed their Voltron, which their Ultimate version is coming out soon. I'm really excited about that, and they're doing reaction figures, which are going to be the smaller 3 3/4 inch figures that you just saw me do the Voltron review of. But I hope the Godzilla figures are in a little bit bigger scale in the reaction line. We shall see, like their Devastator. That would be aces. I don't know, you know, what they're gonna do about that, but we will stay tuned and hope for the best. But those are two of the things that they're doing. The 7-inch line is definitely going to be like a NECA style line of figures. There's going to be something for, you know, I feel like there's going to be something, based on this interview, something for fans that love, like, Japanese vinyls and fans that love the more realistic stuff. So, does that mean it's going to be somewhere in between, or are we going to get, like, more realistic figures and less realistic figures? I don't know this yet. But it could be a little bit of marriage of the two, where it's a more toyetic. And if you know Super7's style, they are a more toyetic type of figure line. So that's something I'll be really interested in. I would like love it for it to be more toyetic across the board. I think that would be really cool. As far as what they can do pretty much everything except Kong, like the old Showa Kong, and Mechanic Kong. Those two they cannot do. Everything else is fair game. And a little tidbit from this is that, you know, they, you know, initially were given a small little swath of, here's, you know, what you can do, and then they wrote them back and were like, no, but we want to do all of this. And they were like, oh, okay, no one's ever really asked us for all of that. That is very telling. I'm not gonna, you know, mention other companies, but that is very telling for all those fans that have often wondered why your favorite company didn't make X figures. All right, it's a possibility to do, and Super7's gonna try to do that. So there's gonna be plenty of Super7 kaiju coming. So really stay tuned. That is very awesome. Another thing that is asked by Dan here is, what about Shogun Warrior style figures? Because they have done giant figures in Shogun style before. They did a Boba Fett. They are working on a Optimus Prime, which is, I think they did that Boba Fett. Am I wrong about that? Or was that like somebody else? Could have been Toynami. My apologies. But they are, you know, working on an Optimus Prime, and they want to sell that first. But yes, that is a possibility. Now, what Brian here in the interview was like hinting at was like, doesn't really want to do a Godzilla, but there's a certain mech that shoots missiles out of his hand. So a Shogun Warriors style giant mecha Godzilla is certainly a possibility here, and that excites this guy a lot. So reaction figures, Ultimates, Shogun Warriors possibly, and some other merch here and there is possible. There is a 3-year plan on all of this, which sounds awesome. So it gives you some time here of the number of figures, and, you know, let's support this, guys. Now, as far as price goes, and this wasn't talked about here, but Then they talked about like Transformers and how that price point, because the pre-order for Wave 1 of Transformers Ultimates just went up. Those are $55 each, which is about $10 more than their usual Ultimates. It sounds like that's going to be their price point going forward. So be prepared for the Ultimates figures to be in that price range, and they cite, like, you know, Brian cites different like factors about that, and just prices across the board going up. So, you know, like, that is something you're gonna have to think about. It's gonna be a lot more than like your NECA figures. Will there be more involved? We'll have to see, you know, but $55 sounds like where the price point is going to lie. So, a lot of information there about the Godzilla line from, you know, Super7 coming up. A couple of things I wanted to also mention is they're also doing a Power Rangers line, and there was this, you know, one of the questions that was answered was they will be doing Power Rangers as a whole and not just Mighty Morphin, but they're starting with Mighty Morphin stuff. They're going to be doing monsters, they're going to be Zords, they're going to be Super Cyborg sized figures of some Megazords. There was a leak, I think, you know, now that I've heard this interview, it sounds like it was a leak initially of the Megazord that we saw pictures of the Super Cyborg. So that's going to be something that's happening, but there's possibilities of others. And then in the Ultimates line itself, there's going to be actual Zords. Like the first wave is going to have the T-Rex Zord, as well as Goldar, as well as Putty Patrol, and Green Ranger and Yellow Ranger. So it's going to be a little bit all over the place as far as that goes, but that is awesome. I would love to have, and this is something, again, Godzilla fans, I know you guys like having things in the same scale. You're going to have Godzilla figures to go against like Zords that are styled the same way in the same scale. So I thought I would mention that. That is something super awesome that you know, my ears perked up when I heard that. That is very, very cool. And there you go. I hope you dug this. I just wanted to break it down a little bit. Oh, one other little tidbit here from this interview that you got to kind of maybe read between the lines, and maybe I'm reading too much into this. But if you watch this interview, and during the Godzilla part, Dan asks him about, you know, obviously you can't make Gamera, right? And, you know, like, Brian says, no, Gamera is a different company. But the way his body language was when Gamera was brought up, and his eyes felt like it was a tell that there might be some Gamera stuff coming down the line from Super7. I would love to see it. As well, so fingers crossed on that. That was just me, like, kind of looking, you know, watching the interview and, you know, kind of like trying to read between the lines a little bit. Very, very cool stuff. You know, we shall hear, you know, lineups for the Reaction line and the Ultimates line a little bit later this year. Stay tuned for whatever the SDCC, you know, exclusive might be. It's not going to be easy being green, guys, but I'm going to be looking forward to that one for sure. Hope you dug this one. Make sure you check out my reviews of the Super7 reaction figure of Voltron, and in the next few weeks, the Ultimates version of that, if you want to see a little example of what you might be getting, or check out, you know, like, do a search on my channel for various other Super7 products. Hope you dug this video. Till next time. Peace out, peeps.